I'd like to, in this video screencast, I would like to go over just some, basic introduction to setting up a Rails application. First of all, I'd like to point out some of these links that I've posted here. 10 reasons you should learn Rails. Why learn Ruby and Rails in 2018? Why use Ruby on Rails 2018? And then a Rails 5 tour. Most are pretty short. Again, you can speed up the play by changing the play speed to 1.5 or 2 times. It makes it go by pretty fast, but still very informational. So yeah, definitely check those videos out. And in the meantime, I'll also create this video myself that you can also watch and ask questions about. First of all, I'd like to point out to those on Windows, if you go to railsinstaller.org, there's a link down here for Windows and Mac, but I actually recommend this for Windows users. It just makes it a lot more straightforward. They'll set up Ruby, Rails, Bundler, Git, SQLite, etc. All set up for you on Windows, so definitely give that a shot. On Mac, it's actually quite a bit easier to get this stuff going, but I do want to make sure that what I demonstrate in my videos is, obviously it's Mac because I'm on a Mac, so if you have any questions about that, please let me know. So with that, let me jump into getting Rails going. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my terminal, and in Windows it'd be the command prompt. Either way, you can check what version of Ruby you're running by running ruby-v, and you should have some 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, which should be fine for this. And then in order to install Rails, you just run this gem command, install Rails. And I've already installed this, but when you do it for the first time, it will take, I don't know, a few minutes because it's going to need to download some things, compile some things, run them, etc. And after that's ran, you can check your Rails version with the Rails -- version. And I would recommend, at least, if you just install the latest, it should be 5.2 something. I think 5.1 and above is okay too. So we can just go with that. But in order to generate a new app, Rails, you just run this Rails command, Rails new, and then I'll create an app called Hello app or Hello, just a kind of introduction. It's going to go through, create some files, set some things up. So apparently compiling some Nokogiri extension. I don't think that'll take very long, but we'll see. In the meantime, you see, all these files it generated for you, and a lot of these you don't need to worry about them. Like 95% of these files you don't need to worry about right now, but there are a few that we'll be looking at to get some basics of your Rails app up and going and running. So, okay, awesome. I think the most important thing here is that once you get an app ran, you want to change your directory into that app so that you can interact with it. I'm going to run the Rails command to start the server. Okay, I don't know why I didn't like Rails start, but Rails S worked. So I know Rails S is short for start, so I'll look into that. Oh, Rails server. Let me try that again just to make sure. Rails server. Yeah, that's what you want, Rails server. So my bad on that. And notice, it's booting up Rails 521, and then also says it's listening on localhost 3000. So what we want to do is actually grab this localhost 3000 and put that into our browser. And you should get a yay, you're on Rails. So that's a good sign right there. Cool, cool. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to open up a new tab here and open this up in my editor and show you the most relevant pieces to this app. Most of the code you'll be interacting with is underneath this app directory. And I also want to point out, I had you do that research in your research paper on the model view controller pattern. And what's cool is in Rails, it follows that pattern to organize your code. So notice you'll have controllers in here. You'll have models, where you'll have code that interacts with your database here. And then in your views, you'll have all your templates. So your HTML, embedded Ruby into your HTML templates is all going to go under the views. So that's pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is generate some files. And actually, I can do that from here. I can open up a terminal from here. Yep. So I'm going to use the Rails command again. I'm going to generate a controller. So it's going to go into there. Welcome. And we'll give it an index action. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, cool. So it created a controller file, which you see here. It created a index file, which is an app views welcome. So app views welcome, pretty simple looking. And for the most part, I think that's it for now as far as what's relevant to this demo. And so if I go type in, actually if I go to this route here, it says get welcome index, which is in config and routes. This get welcome index, that actually tells you basically where to go in your URL. So I'm actually going to type that in up here, index, and I get this page here. Not the prettiest thing, I can come in here and change this up, obviously, and I should see the changes over here. So you notice that that quick turnaround time of editing your code, refreshing the browser, and seeing the changes that you've made. So, all right, well, cool. That was an introduction to getting Ruby on Rails set up, and we will be digging a lot deeper very soon. Thanks.